Hello. I think it's time to start. I'm Paolo Fornasiero from the University of Trieste, executive editor of ACS Catalysis. It's always a pleasure to be here in Bologna. I have many friends, both at the university and CNR, and I also like to work with CNR. I'm associated with CNR in Florence, and I think this idea to host ICS on campus here is great. I was always supporting because for me it's so important that the next generation of scientists get in touch immediately with the process of writing, evaluating papers. So I think this is a great opportunity. I strongly suggest you to networking with the editors. This is a unique opportunity to talk to them directly. As an editor, I could tell you many stories about writing, reviewing process, but today I have a different task. I would say quite challenging and important in order to allow you to make your work easier, to successfully publish also. So I'm going to talk about communication skills, collaboration, and digital networking. This relates to interpersonal skills. So something which is really related to you. Every individual is different. It's different because we're human beings. It's different because it comes from different country, different environment, lives and works in different situation. And so someone is pretty much ready to interact, is friendly. Others, maybe because work not in a large networks, and has to practice, has to think about how to establish communication between colleagues within a group. And this is extremely important because if you learn how to communicate, how to interact positively, you can really reduce the overall stress and improve satisfaction. Our daily work is very complex. We have many tasks. Bureaucracy in Italy is tremendous. And you are under stress to solve these problems. You have always an instrument which is not running. You have financial problems. Your supervisor is asking you to make photocopies or to help him. So you're under stress. The way the communication goes helps you definitely to improve, let's say, the working environment, make it more positive, and this has tremendous impact in your creativity, which should be the most important part of your work. I mean, I expect you to be early stage researchers, so they're fully dedicated to research, but we know how many other aspects we encounter, how many problems we have every day. So communication is part of this complex network, and the productivity, also in terms of publication, as we heard, depends very much on how we live, how we interact within a team, a group, a society, and so this is also very much evident from different studies. For instance, in the last few years, analysis involving millions of people underline how the interpersonal skills, and especially communication, are becoming more and more important in the hiring process. Of course, here in Italy might be different. You're maybe a PhD student looking for a position in academia, and then you know there is a call, and then you're evaluated mostly on facts like papers, citation, age index, and what you provide in your CV. But in reality, in the world, you have colloquia, you have interviews, and really how you interact with the other person is extremely important, and in company this is definitely a must. So it's important to start thinking about these aspects. So let's start saying something on communication between colleagues, and then we will talk about communication in a team. So there are different steps and levels. First, you communicate because you have a message to deliver. You have to develop the content, the idea of your message clearly. And then, of course, you have also to choose. This is not obvious, but you have to choose the medium. So you set the objectives. You have to evaluate the urgency of your message. It's something that you have to deal with within minutes, hours, days, and this has a tremendous impact in the selection of the medium, because if you have an urgent message, you have either to use the phone or to talk face-to-face immediately. You cannot use an email that can be read maybe much later. You have to draft a plan and remember some specific action that we will call the 5 C's, and we will discuss soon. You have to deliver your message with care and consideration. Care and consideration is extremely important. So be persuasive, because you want to deliver really the message clearly. Use appropriate language. This is very much important, the language that you use. It's not just the English or the Italian in this case, but it's the words you select. Try to understand the point of the receiver, how the receiver will perceive the words, the message you're delivering. And of course, use also or take care of the body language. The tone of your voice may change the message. With the tone, with your eyes, how you move your hands. In Italy, we know, but depending if you're from north or from south, some body language are different. So it can be also tricky. And of course, you do not want just to deliver a message, but you want to have a feedback, an effect of your message. So you must also pay a lot of attention on listening, receiving a feedback, and be ready to interact. So it's not just one-way communication, 2 ways. Look, for instance, in a face-to-face communication in the eyes of the person who you are talking to. So, there are different options to communicate. Here are some. Face-to-face, for instance. How you decide face-to-face? Well, delicate aspects should be treated face-to-face. Shows respect to the person who you're talking to. You can immediately recognize the feedback, even from language body. In some cases, someone can even start crying, and you can feel that the communication is going wrongly, and you can reorganize your conversation. So it's extremely powerful, but you have to be ready, because talking face to face, you don't have time to readapt. You must be smart. So you have to organize your message pretty in advance if you want to communicate something important and you expect some kind of reaction. Face-to-face needs the two person to meet each other. It means has a limitation if you're traveling, if you're abroad. Can you wait? Of course, it's not always possible. So a second option is a video chat. This combines the advantage to see face-to-face the two speakers, but with a filter. Then you have the phone option. That's allow you to have fast communication, but you do not have the perception of the body language. You can feel from the tone of the voice that something is happening. And finally, you have email. Email can provide long message, detailed message, but please remember, when you send an email, I was used to print and read and recorrect, but the message is don't send immediately your mail. Speaker before said nicely, stay cool, don't answer to the editor immediately, because of course you have to meditate. But this is applied every time. Emails remain forever. So the readers then read and read and read and then add more and more. And in an email, sometimes you add the tone of the voice, which is not present. Or you may also add the tone in the email by using bold letters. That means that's strong. And so, and of course you can use chat, WeChat or WhatsApp, short messages for friends, and that's fast option. But when you have a message, a clear message to deliver, there are these 5 important C's that you have always to keep in mind. Be clear. You want to give a clear message. Be correct. Of course, in science, extremely important, but also in personal relation. Complete. So provide all the information so the other person can have all the information to take the next steps, to react. Be concrete. So when you're saying something, give specific examples, not just general ideas, and then the other person, what are really that saying in this conversation? I don't understand. So concrete, concise. We're all busy. Give the right message. Don't use too many words. Go to the point, but provide all the informations. I already mentioned body language, non-verbal cues are important in the conversation. So try to look at the other person, how react to your message. That's very, very important because you can learn and adapt the type of communication while you perceive these small messages. So for a good communicator, you have to be open-minded. This word has been mentioned many times. As an editor, I communicate with authors many times. I have good news, and of course, this is the easy part. I'm pleased when some of the rare cases, the authors send me a personal letter saying, thank you, I appreciate how you handle the manuscript. But of course, most of the time I have bad or very bad news, and so I have to communicate through appeal letters. So this is another aspect we should talk for hours, but appeals are not something editor likes to receive, because in the best case underline an error, like final decision is not correct, the selection of the reviewer was not appropriate, and that's in charge of the editor. So when you write an appeal, the communication should be well balanced, because your final target is to ask for reconsideration. So how you write the appeal letter is extremely important. Be kind, because you want to make your points. You don't want to say, editor, you're stupid, you selected the wrong editor, you make the wrong decision. I will not publish anymore on your journal. That's a bad start. But if you start commenting on the reviewers' comments in an appropriate way, supporting your statements and providing data and willingness to change significantly the manuscript, it is likely that an open-mind editor will receive this message correctly, and you have another chance. So it's important the way you communicate. Okay, empathy is important in communication. So try to feel what the others are feeling. So as an editor, I understand the frustration when an author is receiving a rejection letter. As an editor, I have a paper rejected. I can tell you that I rejected a paper on ACS Catalysis submitted by the editor-in-chief. Can you imagine the skill in communication? Dear author, that was Chris Jones, now editor-in-chief of JAXA, and say, Chris, I'm going to reject, not major revision, reject your paper, because I sent this paper to 4 reviewers, but the comments are solid. And I was expert in the field, and I do agree with them. I know that you can do much better, and but we got a resubmission. It was absolutely fantastic paper. Probably he was not. I was a bit busy. Not always the corresponding author has the possibility to read all the details. So empathy, but sometimes is hard. But this is important in communication. Respect, always respect differences, opinion, while talking, while receiving emails. As an editor, I have respect. I have respect for young scientists, the same respect as senior scientists. I'm judging the manuscript, not judging the person. So respect, not differences between famous professors and young PhD. Of course, receiving a manuscript from some of you, I don't know the names, and it's from a big name, I know, I recognize immediately. So I may have a bias, but I assure you that in my communication, in my email, as an editor, I always have the same respect. I rejected paper from top professor in the United States, and I accepted papers from PhD as corresponding author. So respect, always. And simplify the complex. Our life, all tasks are very complex, and in the communication is always a plus, a benefit, if you are able to simplify. Let's say we can talk about a project and say, oh, it's difficult, multitasking, we need to do a lot, we don't have the equipment, or we can see step by steps, its contribution. So all these aspects are important in the way we communicate. Collaboration within a team. Every one of us has experience in a team. We play games like football, where many players are playing together. We play music, instruments, and there are many players all together with one object, final goal. There are differences. There is a captain, a leader in a team, but the team is made by person. But the team is more than just the sum of the members, is something more. There is a synergic effect if you can really establish a fruitful life, communication, and enhance all the skills within the team. There are steps to be a good team player. So to be a team player in different roles, of course, you have to understand what is your contribution toward a common goal, which has shared and has been agreed within the team. So it's important to valorize in the team your capability, your expertise, finding your role. Different roles in a team, but the same object. And of course, to successfully do this, it's important to communicate within the groups of researchers, share ideas, and of course, and be engaged regularly and respectfully. It means that it must be organized group meetings, for instance, regularly with different levels of meetings, more large, smaller, presentation, and of course everyone should know its role, but the importance, and feel part of the team. This is extremely important. Feel part of the team means be able always to provide ideas, communicate freely, and have feedbacks. Not just say, oh, I have this idea. Fine, thanks, coffee break, goodbye. Always be reliable and remain flexible to new ideas from other team mates. This is extremely important. I'm the leader of the team, and I love to learn from young, motivated PhD. I'm always shocked to see how they may have these brilliant ideas reading from the literature. I'm over too busy, and sometimes I'm so happy to see them. And so I give credit, give respect when I give a presentation, show them my young PhD, I say, those are responsible for my career, for my success. Give credit. And of course, often they have terrible ideas, wrong ideas, completely wrong. And within the team, others recognize, oh, that's a terrible idea. It cannot work. It's obvious. And I take this as an opportunity to underline that it's important to try, to provide, to interact. It's not a negative aspect to say something wrong. It's the willingness to contribute. So this is play in a team, even if you say something completely wrong. So that's something we have to stimulate, and you have to be engaged in this game. Don't be shy. Of course, we have to create this network, this team. This start from assembly the right people. That's not easy. In Italy, you have some rules, and you cannot include. For instance, diversity, inclusion should be considered, but then in Italy you have a call, you have rules how to evaluate, even for PhD postdoc, you do not have much flexibility. And in a group, I'm not allowed to select a postdoc without an open call, etc., etc. But in other cases, it's important, and I think the diversity brings a huge novelty in your group. So I love when there are applications from candidates far from my field, because I know they can say things completely wrong, but they can bring new fields into my research activity. And so diversity is extremely important. I like to have people coming from abroad, because my group for many years was composed only of Italians, and that was a terrible limitation. Now, of course, language, official language in the group is English, and all these aspects are so important. So it strengthens the team. And the philosophy is to make everyone feeling part of the team, so involved in the discussion. So in a common vision, it's easy that the full professor, the team leaders arrive, say, okay, we have this accepted project, do this. You follow this aspect, you follow that aspect, you will take care of this. We will see in a couple of weeks' time, please prepare a presentation with the data well organized. This works. It works much better if you can share a common vision. So allow the member to discuss, to propose, and maybe at the end, the team agree on what was proposed at the leader of the, but that's not important. It's the feeling, and then you go for apply these aspects. Okay, communicating, engaging on a team. So this is not one-to-one, but it's within a group. Adopt an open door policy. That's very important. Member of the team should be able to talk about anything, anytime they need. As a supervisor, my door is always open. They know when they can come to my office, always early in the morning, 7:30, it's free. No business, no lecture, no other, my door is open. Freely to talk to any problem, personal problems. They affect working life. So if someone has an economic problem, talk about that anytime. I can help, I cannot, I don't know. But of course, at least supporting. So open door policy always. Of course, this is vice versa. Even when the supervisor needs to talk to you, you must be available. And understand that even the supervisor may have other problems that affect the work, and so on. So treat it in the same level. Be open to give and receiving feedbacks. So when we communicate, it's not just providing a one-way information, but there is a feedback. So when I talk to someone from my group, I provide feedbacks, then I want to listen something. Be open to all ideas, diversity, strengths already mentioned. Share the information. That's extremely important in a team. It's easy to say, do this. Do this, why? Provide the information so everyone knows why this aspect is so important. And of course, be ready to say, I was wrong, even if you're the leader. So always open also to accept proper mistake or mistakes of the others. What I say always to students who are damaging an instrument or something in the lab, that I'm the only one who is not damaging an instrument, but just because I'm not using an instrument, and I hate to leave the instrument in the lab not used. That's a shame, waste of money. So don't be shy, come to me, say, I broke that instrument, I broke that glass. That's not a problem. I know you were working. You were working. It's positive, it's fine. I find the money to buy another one. Have fun. Have fun. I shouldn't say, but in my group, the fun time is it's more than the working time, I would say. 4 coffee per day with team members, and coffee takes time because we are 10, 15, having coffee, slow coffee with discussion, also scientific discussion. But we also are from North, we like Prosecco, and there are probably 3 bottles of Prosecco in our fridge, but some weeks even 6 bottles of Prosecco, and this is part of the time. We have birthday party, when we have a guest for 6 months. I decided to have what I call Christian birthday, which is, of course, if in the 6 months visiting there is no birthday for this guy, we will say, okay, that day will be your birthday in our lab. So you will bring food. We will bring, of course, some gifts for you. So fun is extremely important. Strengths, the team, and when people are happy, they work harder, and they feel one body for one object. And so I'm happy when my guys are happy. Sometimes Christmas party and etc. But I don't want to say too much, otherwise I will have too many applications. And the last, very short, because I'm too old to enter into digital networking. That's modern. You should teach me. I'm trying to convince my my young member of the group to be much more involved in this business, but they are not so not willing to do that. Social media are becoming more and more important. It's a long story. Even for your career, in some cases, it started to be important. In some CV, you can see sometimes scores of your papers in the social media. How much popular is one paper? So instead of having just the list of the papers with impact factor of the journal, the citation, you have also altimetrics, which give you popularity on Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, and blah, blah, blah. And higher is this number. I don't know, better is your paper, more popular, or maybe you have many friends, or it's a collaborative work. Think about some physicists who are publishing on some large experiments with maybe 5,000 co-authors. It means if everyone is tweeting, then 5,000 tweeters immediately. But what is important is if you go in this direction because you want to enter into or disseminate or give a message on your work in the world, it's not just a monologue, it's a dialogue. So you must be ready to get feedback from the net and reply, and feedback can be positive, negative, involving the wrong audience. So it's extremely important to set your targets, what you want to do. And so, will I use social media for personal or professional purpose? It's not obvious. I may have Facebook sharing picture of me and My son, no, because it's too young, so I'm not sharing pictures. But me on vacation, and at the same time, a scientific paper. That's mismatch of different aspects. Is it positive? Is negative? Depending how large is the community of your followers. So private and personal, good. You put your stuff, your personal, you use Facebook, limited access, WeChat, WhatsApp. Personal and public, I want to share my ideas. Scientific ideas, political ideas, personal ideas. How far you want to go? You use Twitter, YouTube, but remember, things you're putting remain forever. Even something that is supposed to stay for 5 minutes, if someone is catching, then it remains. So it's important. Do you want to reach a limited audience or broad public? Other aspects. And you have LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. So it's long story. I guess you are more skilled than me. What I'm saying, be careful. Decide what you want to do. And for me, it's extremely important. Do you want really to mix up work and personal aspects? What is the message at the end? A mix-up of science and private, political, religion opinions, and then you can share something between family, working colleagues, friends, followers, scientists. So it can be a nightmare. As a suggestion, after you decided what you want to do in this respect, be always professional. Remember, we're in the science. What we say then can also have an impact in the science. Be always respectful. And that's obvious, but it's always better to underline. Respond and engage regularly. So if you post something and then there is a feedback, other feedback, even on your paper, you must reply, and you must accept also people criticizing your scientific work, for instance, and find a balance in what you want to do in this respect. But yeah, I have 10 tips as well, but I can skip. I have 7 minutes. I may leave also for some comments more than question, I hope. But 10 tips are just a summary of what I try to put as little ideas. Of course, in the communication, you have to really craft your message. It's important. Choose carefully your medium. You have something important to tell face by face. You have something that needs a lot of details, an email, and so on and so forth. Remember the 5 C's in the communication. So be clear, concise, complete all the information, etc. Pay attention of the body language. It's important to look how the person, I'm looking at you, are you reading the iPhone, are you following me? So I can perceive if I'm saying something that is interesting for you or not from your body language. Of course, team working is extremely important in our daily life, in our career. We are facing so huge problems from economic, social, from energy-related, pollution-related problems. We need to work. As a scientist, I have so many collaborations. So large teams, networking is important, and we have to share common views, not from top down. We have as a community to agree. So that's important, really, to think about. There's always benefit to be an open mind person in all respect. And from my editorial point, I hope that every author think that I'm open mind editor. I also revise my decision, and that's a sign of respect for authors. Have fun, obviously. No more words in Italy, definitely, and not for me. Networking. Use it carefully, and remember, it's a dialogue. It takes time. Have a website and not updated is a disaster. Have your own strategy, as I mentioned. Want to say something private, makes private public, just on your work. So select carefully. And of course, it must be done professionally and regularly. Saying that, I think there are resources both at ACS, you have the website here, as well as Chemical Engineering News has some good editorial to read. Thank you very much for the attention. Please don't read questions, read comments. Your opinion is welcome.
Hi. First of all, thank you for the presentation and the informative talk that you just did. I have a comment about using social media, especially like LinkedIn, because it's almost a running joke that people use social media more of an advertisement to flex their achievements and accomplishments rather than to communicate with other colleagues and potential collaborators. Do you think that there can be some sort of healthy approach for this social media, or?
Well, I fully agree with your comment. I would say it's a tool. It's up to us to use it in one way or the other. To be honest, I also used to post something to try. I was saying yesterday during a very nice dinner, networking social event here. So I was practicing what I'm trying to teach you, and the food was excellent as well as the wine, I would say, but in Bologna is obvious. So I posted on LinkedIn when I became executive editor of ACS Catalysis, but just nothing. I'm happy that I'm serving as a couple of lines and did the notes from ACS. And then I receive a feedback from ACS because mine was over visited than 40,000 visit, and I think in 1 or 2 days, and more than 2,000 really comments and congratulations. So it was really amazing. And then nothing. Of course, many friends know me, but of course, it's something we have to learn how to use. Someone is putting every paper there and then get feedbacks, positive. But if you get the paper there and then, you get nice paper, and some suggestion, and you're not replying, then it's waste of time. So it's a tool. I suggest we should use it more properly. Less, but more efficiently.
Thank you.
Thank you again for the presentation. This is a general question I want to ask you, that how was this idea that you could be accepted as an editor by ACS? I mean, that how did you reach to this point as a as a job? I mean, I love commenting on, for example, papers and this stuff, but you know, this as a professional work, I want to know the way that how did you reach there?
Okay. I receive a phone call. Well, I was associate editor before being executive editor. I can tell you how I started my career as an editor. I received a phone call saying, "Are you interested?" Now, being in the process, I know that it's a long-term decision. It involves suggestions, colleagues, and you know, there is due diligence to see your contribution if you really are a good scientist in the specific field. And so the process is quite complex, but it differs. It is different from ACS or other publishers. So there are public research where you can start your career after the PhD postdoc as a professional position. There are calls. But what I like ACS is doing, ACS looks at the quality. So is expecting to involve professional editors, really colleagues, really scientists who made solid work, not many work, but solid. I have young colleagues in the team of ACS Catalysis, but our colleagues, so our professors, researchers, and this is really a peer level of evaluation, which goes on what I was trying to say. So really the editor of the American Chemical Society, our colleagues, our experts are selected typically because they did a good job, and so are evaluated in a fair way your work. May I be disappointed in some cases when I'm submitted to some journal where 30 years young editor is saying to me that sorry, but your paper is not challenging enough for our journal. Because he has a lot of experience, just after the PhD, he knows the trends. And so ACS is different in that respect. I'm not saying better, but it's different, definitely.
Maybe I can add something. I interpreted your question because you wanted to know how we reached that position, okay? So in my case, the advice I can give to you is, of course, you will be selected to becoming an editor of ACS. So as he was saying, usually scientists with a very solid background doing good science are selected. Okay, it's a selection process which involves even collecting inputs from all the editorial boards. And then it's kind of a process coming from peers again. And you are selected because you are a good scientist. And even in my opinion, at least myself, when I suggest someone, an editor should not be the one doing the best science. Yes, of course, it should be very, very good science because we know that ACS, the level is so high. But then there are other features that are very important to me. So first, you should know the journal, okay? So you are published there, and so you know the journal because you have been even a reviewer. So in my case, for example, I was first a reviewer because I had the privilege to work even with an editor. My supervisor when I was a PhD was an editor of GemetChem, and another one when I was in the US, I was even working with another editor of GemetChem. So my story is quite lucky. but it's important because I started to review paper very soon because they trained me a lot on that. So I was reviewers, I got the certificate, and maybe someone was even looking at my reviews and they considered them good, okay? Then I also published many GEMET-Chem. So my science was fitting GEMET-Chem. So, and even reputation is so important because the editor is, okay, it's a scientist, top-level scientist, but that's not all, because we are discussing about communication. Communication is so important for an editor. I have even equity, respect, and this is something that you can even cultivate in your career. So if you practice as a reviewer, working well, doing a good science in an ethical way, okay, because this is so important, then at the end, someone will notice that. And then maybe you can be proposed by peers again, and even with this logic of respect that should be the one motivating all the decision and even the appointment of a new editor. So this is my personal experience and my point of view.
If I may want to add something to what the two colleagues here shared. One thing that's very unique about ACS journals, again, is that our editors are really practicing researchers, as you see. And as they describe, that's their journey, and that's how we go about nominating editors and selecting them. But one other thing I want to share with you, though, is that we also have professional staff editors who support all these wonderful editors. These are what we call managing editors. They work for ACS. But they don't make editorial decisions. We leave that out to our expert editors. But what they do is supplement those editors through engagement with the community. They visit research institutions, promoting the journals, helping to identify areas where we can further expand and grow. And so there is a formal professional track to also join ACS in that capacity. In fact, all of our managing editors are PhDs in the respective fields in chemistry as well. So.
Yeah, maybe I can add to this that
I'll slide over.
and now compared to other journals, the ACS journal provide to the editors not only this kind of support, but also the one of the assistant, what are assistant editors?
Yep, assistant editors.
And so the editor, and they do most of the job, right, to interact with the authors and with the reviewers. So when you actually, as an author or reviewer, write, receive a letter from the editor, it's not written by the editor, it's written by these assistant editors, which are extremely competent people and very well trained. And of course, when it comes to the editorial decision, this comes to the editor, but this take away a lot of activity, a lot of work from the editor's shoulders, which translates then in better service from the editor point of view to the authors and to the reviewers. And I have to say that this is not provided by private publishers in particular. So this is something which goes to the credit.
It's a plus.
Excuse me?
It's a plus.
It's a plus, yeah. It goes to the credit of ACS, yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you in your early career and you're thinking about academia or in industry is more than just doing the research for research institution, but industry could be joining ACS as part of the publishing arena and supporting this great community of scientists as well through those roles. Yeah.
Great. I think we can pass the word to Jessica Zhang from the ACS Resources for the closing remarks and last comments.
Thank you again to all our speakers for such a dynamic event. As Paolo said, my name is Jessica Zhang, and I work with ACS on campus to make events like this possible. I will keep this portion short because I know we are awaiting a delicious lunch, but I could not let you leave without sharing some of our resources. First, I want to highlight our In Chemistry magazine, which is a great professional support system for students majoring in STEM, not just chemistry. It's an online magazine that can help you prepare for your career, which I would encourage you to check out at acs.org/inchemistry. ACS has many career-focused tools. So like we were talking about in building steps to one day become a future editor, there's a specific tool called our Career Navigator. This platform helps you explore possibilities that a chemistry degree can provide, especially as students if you're thinking about industry academia, a global nonprofit career, whatever it is, this resource can help you explore the many pathways available. We also have the ACS Institute, which is our learning platform. Membership makes this resource discounted or even free, but there are individual skill assessments, career navigation roadmaps that help you identify tools that you need to get to have certain careers. And then lastly, ChemIDP is a tool used to strategically plan your career path. It helps you understand who you are, what you value in a career that's aligned with your skills. You can explore various careers, figure out what skills you need to strengthen, set concrete goals, and walk away with an individual development plan. We also offer workshops, webinars, skill-building activities, as well as courses designed to help you with personal evaluation, skill development, and goal setting. And of course, networking opportunities with top chemists through in-person training, career consulting, local networking groups, and events such as the one you've attended today. We offer plenty of ways to stay connected, from our technical division to our local student chapters. We have many ways to help you share your passion for chemistry. For example, the CAS SciFinder Future Leaders Program aims to expand professional networks among emerging researchers, increase knowledge and exchange ideas about the role of information within the research process, and share lessons from industry and academic leaders about the role of science in the global economy, academia, and the media. We also have scholarships, grants, and awards. The ACS Technical Division sponsors scholarships for qualified applicants who want to enter chemistry, biochem, chemical engineering, chemical technology, and teaching of chemistry. We have the ACS Scholars Program, which awards over $1 million in scholarship funds annually to undergrad students from historically unrepresented communities who tend to pursue chemistry-related careers. And of course, we have student chapter grants to help you start a chapter or attend a ACS or other scientific meeting and other programming you may want to implement on your campus. With 124 international ACS student groups, being part of ACS gives you over 150,000 best friends. About 1/5 of membership is students, and they are located all over the world. Today, we are offering 25% off membership dues for ACS on Campus event attendees. You can visit membership.join.acs.org and use the promo code ACSOC923CNRIT. And I will be sending that out to all participants via email, so don't worry if you were not able to copy it down. There's also a free basic membership option. Okay, lastly, a few programs, including volunteer opportunities, science and human rights. From Kids in Chemistry, a community-based program brings together scientists and children to do hands-on science activities, to sharing resources with high school chemistry teachers, chem club, science buddies, and much more. You can use your scientific skills and expertise to benefit a cause and to get more out of your volunteer experience. As we know, ACS is uniquely positioned to address issues of human rights and scientific mobility abridgments. So by getting involved, you can learn how to support human rights cases and assist displaced scholars. To access the resources mentioned in this presentation today, I encourage you to visit the ACS on Campus website at acsoncampus.acs.org/resources. I hope you found today's program valuable and that you join the ACS community, whether that's by becoming a member or an ACS publication reader and author. Please keep an eye on your inbox. We're going to be sending out a survey for today's program and a participation certificate. If you help us complete that survey, it will give us insights into betterment of the next event. Also, this has been recorded, so this will be available on the CNR YouTube, which we will email out once it is uploaded. Finally, before we depart, thank you again, CNR and all of our hosts, for allowing us to be part of this event. Please join us for lunch, continue networking, asking questions. We'll be in the lobby. Thank you so much.